Thank you very much. Well, welcome everyone to LadyGuns Virtual Ladies Night number 2. My name is Deneen, and I'm the founder of LadyGuns, and I'm sitting here in Calgary, and alongside me virtually is my partner in crime, Casey, who's joining us from Kamloops, BC. A huge thank you to all of us for joining us tonight. We're really excited to have you. So 2 weeks ago, we launched this idea of having a virtual ladies night to stay in touch with our LadyGuns tribe and meet new women in the shooting and outdoor and hunting sports. And we're doing this, we decided to do this while the events and activities that we typically do are being affected by COVID. So Casey has built us a YouTube channel because we want to make sure everybody has a chance to enjoy our special guests and our girl chat. And that way, if you can't make it, you can watch it on YouTube. So please make sure to check us out on Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, and now YouTube. Give us a like and make sure to follow us to stay up to date with everything we have going on. LadyGuns is a community of shooting, hunting, and outdoor enthusiasts based out of Calgary, Alberta, and you can find more information at ladyguns.ca. We host events, workshops, classes, and activities that encourage and promote women and youth to get involved, get out, and give it a try. We enjoy hosting ladies' range nights, and we even host ladies' adventure days, such as our most recent amazing horseback ride through K-Country. We're looking forward to new events in 2021, and we encourage you to reach out to us with your ideas and suggestions. So tonight, we have a special guest with us, Miss Lisa Roper. Lisa is a hunter, an angler, and an outdoor enthusiast, and is a recognized leader for women in the outdoor field. Lisa is also a mom and an author, and is proudly sponsored by many outdoor brands, and you can share with us everything about your sponsors tonight, Lisa. So we're looking forward to lots of girl chat, and we have lots and lots of questions for you. So to get started, Lisa, please introduce yourself, your background, and how you got into the shooting, hunting, angling, outdoor sports.
All right, well, welcome everyone, and thank you guys for having me. This is so exciting to just see so many women in one spot. As Dina said, right? Is that Dina?
Deneen, yeah. It's okay.
I'm like, I never know how to say those. Sorry, Deneen.
No worries.
Yes, so anyways, as Deneen said, I grew up hunting and fishing in the Lakeland region, which is Lac La Biche area, which is basically 2.5 hours northeast of Edmonton. And I got to do a lot of outdoor adventures with my dad and my brothers. When I first started wanting to go out with my dad, I was pretty young, 4, 5, 6. And, you know, my dad really struggled with taking me out because he, you know, I was the only girl and it was just, you know, it's kind of a boys' world. But he quickly realized that I wasn't going to take no for an answer. And sooner or later, he started bringing me out and I was able to enjoy so many hunting and fishing adventures and just quadding and camping and yeah, all that great stuff.
So you started as a kid with your dad taking you out. So you have siblings, but you're the only girl. How many brothers do you have?
I have 2 brothers, one older, one younger.
And have you had a chance to get out with them? Do you guys all go out as a family?
Yeah, I've been out quite a bit with my older brother. And my younger brother, actually, he moved 8 years ago to Indonesia with his family just to do something different. And so he's been doing some hunting over there. He did come back a year ago, and he is, we actually haven't been out fishing, or hunting, but we've been out fishing. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And so because this started when you were young, have you got your family into this as well?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, honestly, to me, that's one of, I don't know, that's the best part about it is, you know, my dad shared it with me and I get to share it with my kids. I have a son and a daughter, and it's actually quite cute because my son loves shooting and hunting, and he knows so much about optics, far more than I ever will. And my daughter, on the other hand, really doesn't like the whole hunting part, but she loves fishing. So I kind of get alone time with each of them. enjoying what their passions are.
That's fantastic. Well, being a mom myself, I always question the ways to get kids involved, not push them too much, encourage them. Don't give them too many good toys. You got to let them try with the hard stuff first, right? So what are your recommendations? Everybody says, you know, don't give them the best one to start with. They won't know. They have to struggle. But what did you do to get your kids out and enjoying the outdoors?
I think one of the best pieces of advice that I can pass along is allow your kids to be kids when you're outdoors, right? So if you take your child fishing and all they want to do is play with the net, that's okay. There's still interest there. They just, you know, let them enjoy. Don't, you know, remind yourself that now the outdoors is your classroom and you're a teacher. And so you're there to teach, and try not to spend too much time when you first start out. Do it in small increments. You know, maybe if you're going hunting, start with something small, like looking for tracks or looking for sign or trying to understand, you know, why you would pick a certain area for hunting, and just keep building from there. I think when people take their kids out and they just go, okay, we're going to sit in a tree stand for 5 hours and we're going to hopefully get a deer. I just feel that that's really hard on a child, even just working through some of their emotions mentally, physically, even emotionally. And so allowing them to go sit in the tree stand with you, but they're allowed to talk. You know, really enjoy conversation. I mean, it's not a time to be quiet until they have developed and brought themselves to that stage where now they're ready to be quiet for a whole hour or two.
I think that's great advice. I know for my own son, he loves pheasant. He loves our bird dog, who is trained to hunt. He enjoys the fact that our dog is doing what he loves, but he doesn't like dispatching a pheasant. So he's kind of partial to some parts of it. And for fishing, he loves fishing because he drives the boat, but he also loves the idea of catch and release. And so what I've been told is make sure to talk about the environmental side and the conservation side and why we do it. So here's the big question, Lisa. Why do you do it? And tell us a little bit about that conservation side and also the feeding your family side.
Okay. Conservation side, I believe that, you know, I've been given this responsibility. First of all, I've been given a gift to be able to go outdoors and enjoy all the activities of hunting and fishing and everything else that goes with it. And I just believe that, you know, if I'm given this, then I want to give back. And so there comes the conservation. And I want to be able to pass that down to my kids. If I don't do my part now, number one, my kids aren't going to do it because I'm their teacher. And number two, what is going to be left if we all had that mentality? So if we all just do our part, do a little bit. And, you know, conservation doesn't have to be this big thing. It can be the littlest things, like, you know, take in what you brought in. So if you're going to go hunting for a day and you're going to do some camping, you know, take the stuff, the garbage, back out with you. It could be proper catch and release. And I do say the key word there, proper, so that you make sure that the fish has a very high chance of survival. There's just a lot of things that we can do to do our part to make it better for future generations.
I think that's great advice, Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm actually sorry, I forget your second part of your question.
Oh, no, that's okay. We'll carry on. I always said to my son, take out more than you brought in. So pick up somebody else's garbage. So that's
Absolutely.
what I try and work on. So hopefully we can be good mentors for our youth and for future women and young people that are trying to get into to hunting and to fishing. So tell us about one or two of your mentors and what you took away.
Okay, well, I would say one of my mentors, my number one mentor for sure, was my dad. I loved what my dad never told me how to live. My dad showed me how to live. And so by watching him doing all these outdoor activities, it excited me to be a part of that, to be a part of the things that interest him. And he cared a lot about conservation and doing things right and making a difference. And so I just feel like I took on a lot of that from him. But mentor number 2, there's so many. The reason I'm hesitating is just because there's so many amazing women in so many different avenues that I look to for mentorship, whether it's through fishing or through hunting or through shooting. I just think women in general that raise the bar and are pushing themselves are women I like to follow along and just be a part of and really get to know them.
That's fantastic. And you have started a Facebook community. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I started a group called Women Empowering Women in Hunting and Fishing. And the reason for that is because, unfortunately, I put myself out there on a few pages in the past, and I did experience some bullying, if you will, just, comments and people, I caught this big fish, and it's just like, oh, did you really catch that? Da, 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 da. And I just thought, you know what? I need a place where women can feel safe, where women can share what is important to them, their accomplishments, and have other women just, help them out with that and support them positively. And I have invited specific male mentors, I would say, to the group that, they are people in my circle that I feel have helped lift me up or have provided positive comments or conversations with me. And so I just felt that they were a good group to add, or good people to add to the group.
And so I encourage all of you, if you're not, if you are on Facebook and you're not part of that group, check it out. I know it's fun, and during hunting season, man, oh man, was it fun to celebrate everybody's hunting activities and stories, those that got away, and I'm looking forward to fishing season and it going on from there. So so then, staying on that mentor track, Lisa, are you currently mentoring anybody in hunting or fishing yourself?
No, I wouldn't say directly. I don't have. I've had a few people reach out, and I've provided some information. I have this young boy who reaches out. He loves fishing, and I actually sent him some lures and just helping him along and stuff. But not anyone that I have beside me going out in the field, or other than my kids. Right. That I'm doing that for. Yeah.
So we can all sign up for your mentor program soon, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Excellent. So, what would your advice be then for women getting into hunting and fishing to find a mentor, or to seek out some kind of assistance to make sure that the right information is coming? Because I know it's harder for women, and it's really difficult when men offer, because sometimes you wonder, is this guy, the right guy to go out and learn from, or does he just want to date?
Yeah. What might be some red flags that you should avoid if you're asking for mentors?
Okay, well, I think if you're asking for mentors, first of all, we always have to remember that whoever you're taking out on the hunting aspect of things, you just have to remember you are in the bush with another person that you really don't know with a rifle. So number one, you want to make sure that you know what your standards are for gun safety and hunting safety. Because if you know, then you are not only aware of yourself, but you're aware of the person that you're with, and you want to make sure that that's top of your priority. Number two, I would probably look into asking for mentors with your local hunting and fishing organization. There's a lot of them that like to do that. There's programs out there that they offer. I know AHIA does offer some stuff, and I'm trying to think of the other program. NOAA, is it NOAA? No.
If anybody knows, throw it in the chat. That would be great.
Yeah, I know there's a couple programs out there that do offer mentorship as well. So I would start with those kind of groups. Again, your hunting and fishing group, because at least you're connected, they're connected to an organization. That's important. Yeah, so
Wonderful.
NOAA,
Kelly says that NOAA is the
Yeah.
Nova Scotia mentorship program.
right. And then there's the AHIA at Alfred Lake, and there's also the AHIA at Narrow Lakes. So again, it's a weekend or 4 days filled of mentorship and learning so many different things, from how to shoot a gun to tracking and making your own fire, so wilderness survival, all of that stuff. So definitely look at those kind of programs first.
So for those of you not in Alberta, AHIA is the Alberta Hunter Education. A lot of the provinces have very similar programs, and I'm happy to say that in 2021, LadyGuns is launching a new website, and within that website, we plan on having an area with mentors to be able to connect, especially to help women. So on that note, because I've had the opportunity to mentor, as well as I'm always seeking mentors in other areas that I would like to build my skills, when I was asked to mentor, there were some really interesting things that I learned, because right now a lot of the hunter mentors are male. If there's women and young ladies that are trying to learn how to hunt and they're on the first hunt programs, these programs now need another lady to accompany that man, so that that it is set up appropriately. So if any of you have the skills to be able to support a mentor hunting program but don't want to be the lead, still reach out to them, because they're looking for mentor support so that women can get the chance to go out and be mentored by a man. Did that make sense? Or everybody's nodding? Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that makes sense. I also know, since we, Deneen and I went through the process of becoming volunteers with AHIA, they do a background check on their volunteers. So I don't know how it is for the other regional associations, but I imagine it's fairly similar.
Yeah, it's really important, and I've been on some great programs with some great mentors, and so for women to get out, and I understand, and that is actually going to be my next question for you, Lisa. I understand women are the fastest demographic in hunting. I know with deer licenses, it is certainly there as far as leading the pack. So. Yeah, any thoughts around around women specifically and young ladies getting into hunting and fishing, and some great examples about leadership and mentorship that you might be aware of?
I'll be honest, I'm not sure what the question is. So are you asking me?
Lady, are you familiar with any lady hunters, mentors, maybe outfitters, lady guides that are leading the charge?
I'm actually not. I mean, Kelly can comment or leave a note here, but I know in Nova Scotia they have Women That Hunt. It's a group, and they do a lot of things together, right? And so kind of like what you guys are doing, where they have range day and they'll have all kinds of fun stuff for ladies. I do know. I've only actually met, out of the lodges that I've been to and fishing different areas, I've only actually met one female guide. She was phenomenal and really knew her stuff, so grounded. I have not met really too many other females in the hunting industry, like other than, people that but just out there, out and about, or when I'm invited to a lodge or to somewhere else, I haven't. It's really a male dominant in that aspect. But having said that, I mean, we see all of the females that are coming up, and all the young ladies that are, getting into it, getting into the hunting and the fishing, and wanting to do more and really challenging themselves. For an example, we did a ladies range day this year in Alberta. It's the third time we've done it, and it's
where
amazing.
in Alberta did you do that, Lisa?
It's in Red Deer. At the Red Deer gun range, and this year we had, I think it was 34 women, and we do 4 stations, so handgun, shotgun, rifle, and then archery. And it's amazing. It's so amazing to have these women show up that maybe have never shot before, and all of a sudden they're shooting, and the emotions, and then you find out some of their stories, right? And it's just
That's
a beautiful
my favorite
thing.
part.
That's my favorite part too, Casey. Absolutely. And I was so signed up to be there to support you in that event, Lisa, but I had a chance to go fishing for a week in the Caribou, so I left.
Yeah, I can understand.
Yeah. So
So
sorry about
Kelly
that.
says that there's criminal records with vulnerability sector and child abuse registry for the NOAA Association. And Amanda Lynn Mayhew does that stuff in Ontario. That's from Jamie Lee.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, ladies. It's good. It's good to find which women are leading, and I agree with you, Lisa. There's a lot of amazing women up and coming. A lot of women on YouTube. Casey and I've had the chance to go to this amazing event called SHOT Show in Las Vegas every year, where the shooting, hunting, and outdoor community come together, and we've met so many women that are leaders, and so I'm hoping to see a bunch of Canadian ladies leading the charge, and hopefully we can connect with them through LadyGuns and start putting on some programming and connecting some activities, and making sure that everybody gets the chance that they want. I know I've really learned that leaning into the outfitters and the guides for me is making my experience more fun. They're professionals, and I don't know about all of you. Lisa, you've got a couple I think you've worked with. What was that experience like, going with an outfitter guide versus going on your own on a hunting trip?
It is really different. I do really enjoy my solo hunts. However, going with a guide who is willing to share their knowledge and really teach you instead of just kind of telling you like, go do this, go do that. It's amazing. I have learned so much this year just from, I've never, for an example, hunted wolves before, and I went this year with my son. Amazing experience. We learned so much just by having a phenomenal guide who was willing to take the time to really teach us and spend a lot of time with us explaining things. And yeah, it's very different. I just did my first Saskatchewan hunt this year with Rob Dunham, amazing human being. And again, just learning so much from him. And we all can hunt whitetail, but the way I hunt whitetail in Alberta is different how you hunt it down in southern Alberta, how you hunt it differently in Saskatchewan, being it's flat and over bait. So just learning and working through that, it's really great to have a knowledgeable guide who's willing to invest in you, for sure.
I totally agree. And for those of you who might not have seen the amazing whitetail that Lisa put on the ground in Saskatchewan, not only is it over her shoulder right now, if you can see the photo, but you can see it on her Facebook and on Instagram. So Casey and I had the privilege of going on a guided bear hunt this spring on horseback in Kananaskis, a couple of days with the amazing Dewey from Casey, help me out here.
Now I'm blanking out too.
Yeah, Anchor D,
yes. And it was
took me
amazing.
A second, sorry.
Amazing.
Anchor D Outfitters, Anchor D Ranches in Turner Valley, and we also had the chance. His cousin is Man Tracker from the TV show. So, talk about learning. We learned about track. We learned about conditions. We learned about wind and windage. We learned about a bunch of things, and we just had a really good time. So. Yeah, it's amazing. It is different between a mentor and a guide outfitter, but if you can find one and have one recommended, I totally suggest you go that way. So, so Lisa, we've talked about mentors and guides and getting started, and you've been on this journey for a while, and you have attracted some very interesting sponsors. So let's talk about them for a little bit. Give them some airtime. You've got some sponsors, and why are they in your life, and how does it work out that that they've come to your table or you to theirs?
Well, so basically where I'm at right now is, as I said earlier, I grew up hunting, fishing, doing all that kind of stuff. And And then when my dad passed away very suddenly 5 years ago, you know, grief is an ugly thing, and I really struggled with kind of who I was and maybe getting lost. And then 2 years in, I just finally said, you know what, I'm going to turn this around, and how can I honor my dad, and what can I do that will allow me to feel connected to him and keep growing. And so I decided to take on the outdoors full force. Like, I put myself out there in ways that, yeah, I wasn't comfortable. I was scared, but I knew that if I was following the way my dad raised me and what my dad would be so proud of, I knew that it was going to work out one way or another. If nothing else, I was just going to be fully content and happy. So 3 years ago, I went to the Calgary Boat and Sportsman Show, and I met some amazing people that just started snowballing into being sponsored by Bass Pro Shops in Calgary and Len Thompson Lures, which I'm very proud, I have to say. In 90 years of business, I'm the first female in Canada to be one of their ambassadors. So that is just, thank you. You know, it's such a sweet thing, because I actually, like, the very first fish I ever caught was on a Len Thompson 5 of diamonds, and literally, when I'd go fishing with my dad, we had 2 hooks. We had the 5 of diamonds, and then we had the red and white devil. And so to be an ambassador for them was just unbelievable. It's such a highlight. And then from there, it just kind of kept rolling. I've been sponsored by Spy Point trail cameras, so I get to use those in my hunting adventures. And I'm sponsored by Jiffy Augers, Zebco, and Quantum Fishing Rods and Reels, Tracker Off-Road. So I just recently picked up that ambassadorship, and so I have this amazing side-by-side that I was able to venture out in the mountains, which that's new to me. So it was so exciting. So between horseback and the side-by-side, definitely saw a lot of country. And tracker boat.
I'm totally jealous about that, by the way. I would love a side-by-side. So you could put in a good word for LadyGuns if you don't mind. That'd be great.
Right. So yeah.
Nadia asks, how competent a rider do you have to be to join your horse riding trips? And the answer is not at all. They are basically trail riding stuff. If we do anything more technical, that will be written in.
Right. So they pick a horse and to match the person. So if the person is not skilled, then the horse is very skilled. And if the person is very skilled, then you get a horse with a little bit of pepper. So yeah. So Casey's very skilled on a horse, and so I got to enjoy watching her have a hot horse for a couple of days. Yeah, they're very good with our group, and we even had a handicap person on a horse, and the match was perfect. So yeah, absolutely, anybody can come and join. So good question. Thank you very much. So we were talking about sponsors and how you found them. So thank you so much, Lisa. That's amazing. That's an amazing story. Brings a tear to my eye about the whole, how you got into it. My motivation, I mean, I grew up hunting and fishing. My mom and dad both. I think if you asked my mom, she would say I was motivated by my dad, but in a lot of ways, she was right behind him, gun in hand, fishing rod in hand, belly boat, like float tube, you name it. She's absolutely, she's a go girl. And so I got a lot of that from her. And it wasn't until much later when I had a son that I was like, well, who's going to teach my son how to hunt and fish? And then I realized I wasn't doing it. I had walked away from it. And so, so I turned back into it. And that's actually how Casey and I met. We met at a gun range. And so, we were both out shooting, and so that's how we met a decade ago now. So I think that yeah, your inspirations can come from many places. So thank you for sharing that with us, Lisa. So I think that's fantastic. So we may have women that hunt here, and we may have women that fish, but I know we have everybody that eats. So let's talk a little bit about your favorite wild game and your favorite recipes.
Wow, favorite wild game. Oh, there's so many. I love elk, moose, deer. I have even really taken on enjoying bear meat once I understood how to prepare it properly and enjoy it. Couple of my favorite recipes for hunting for big game would be, I love a roast, a good roast done in a slow cooker with some red wine vinegar and some soy sauce and all kinds of great spices and garlic. Lots of garlic. Gotta have garlic.
Essential ingredient. Essential ingredient.
Garlic makes everything better.
It does, absolutely. And bacon. Okay.
Can't go without
Wrapped
bacon.
in bacon, layered in bacon. Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah, exactly.
Wrapped in bacon.
And I love stir fry. So any wild game done up in a stir fry is absolutely delicious.
Pheasant tacos. I make those for my kid when he was little because he loved tacos, and we called them wild chicken until they became officially pheasant. So yeah, that was absolutely a big thing. Moose tacos, anything Mexican flavored, wrapped, with cheese and all that stuff. So that's what he loves for sure. So do you have a go-to recipe?
Your goose jerky.
Oh yes, well that was unintentional. So when my son was 2, he unplugged the freezer where all the wild game was, and I only found it a few days later. So everything was thawed, but to the point where it was still okay to rescue, but it meant everything had to be cooked, everything in the entire freezer. So I made jerky out of pheasant and goose and duck, and had the opportunity to share it with all my friends and all my shooting and hunting buddies. And yeah, it was delicious. But yeah, you can thank the 2-year-old for unplugging the freezer for that one. So
honestly, goose jerky is one of the best. Like, that is absolutely delicious.
Yeah, like I said, I just got I got 12 or 15 pounds of goose pepperoni in Landjager yesterday as a result of a goose hunt a few weeks ago. So super cool. Taz, you said something and I missed it. Casey, you're going to have to grab it for me about Len Thompson. So can you see it?
Taz says, on the sponsor's note, once COVID restrictions are lifted, you can go tour the Len Thompson factory in Lacombe for free. You get a free lure at the end of the tour, and visit the world's largest lure.
Oh, super cool. Thanks, Taz. That's amazing. Lisa's leading the tour. Everybody sign up. Casey will put the sign up on our website. That'll be good. That'll be a good day.
We could have a fun day of that.
Sorry, what's that?
I said we could do a fun day of that, and then we could go to the trout pond and do a little fishing.
I love it when a plan comes together. This sounds fantastic. Taz, you're in charge of the organization. I just want you to know. That would be fantastic. So, all right. So we were talking about favorite food, and now, because it's Christmas, let's talk about favorite Christmas drinks. This has nothing to do with the topic, but we're all enjoying a cocktail, a glass of wine. I certainly love a good rum and eggnog, Bailey's and coffee. And this year, I'm certainly going to enjoy a plug here, my Bolt Action coffee. Because we're ambassadors of that amazing brand, and damn good coffee, man. It's amazing. So it's good with any kind of adult beverage added to it, just saying. So Lisa, what's your favorite go-to Christmas cocktail or beverage?
I'm actually pretty simple because I don't like a lot of, heavy creams and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of a red wine kind of girl. Fireplace, Christmas music. Yeah, I enjoy that.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Casey, what's your Christmas beverage of choice?
Not eggnog. Beer? I don't know.
It's always beer. You can ask Casey any day of the week, any month of the year. It's a beer. So anybody
except for today because it wasn't cold enough.
French cassis with Prosecco. Nadia, that's way out there for me. I'm going to have to try that. Anybody else have anything they want to post up in the chat and recommend something that would go good with goose jerky or goose pepperoni? Blueberry gin in cranberry ginger ale, says Alyssa. That sounds good. Excellent. A rum chata. I think I need a recipe to go with that.
Alicia says
Spiced rum and
spice rum and
eggnog.
eggnog with nutmeg.
Eggnog with Coke and rum? Wow.
I think I could give that a try. That's out there, but I could give it a go. Fireball while ice fishing. Well, anything goes while ice fishing. I can honestly say, yeah, my first ice fishing trip when I was not quite an adult, but perhaps a teen that could leave home without adult supervision, might have involved a little bit of kind of brandy and a skidoo and some ice fishing, and yeah. So
Yeah.
no wonder I like ice fishing, right?
And Tara says freeze coffee in an ice cube tray once frozen. 2 or 3 of those. Pour equal parts Irish cream and vanilla vodka.
Okay, Tara, I might have to try that one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Fantastic. Alicia says, love it. Excellent. Well, you can put anything in a coffee for me, coffee with or coffee without. I'm a big coffee fan. So that's always a good way to start Christmas morning for sure. All right. Well, we were talking about cooking, and nobody offered up their favorite wild game or wild game recipe. So jump online and let us know what your thing is in the message and chat, and let us know. Antelope sausage, love antelope, absolutely. Never hunted them, would love to get out and do that. So my favorite is elk first, for sure.
And Tara mentioned jumper sausage.
Curried rabbit, says Kim. My Springer would like to comply with getting you a rabbit, although he's not supposed to. Pheasant risotto, absolutely, Kelly. Pheasant, anything.
Tara said that's a staple of every Saskatchewan wedding she's been to.
Nice. Bear burgers. Well, now I know that bear is very much like pork, and so you can make bacon out of it, and you can make hams out of it, and I've had some lovely jerky, but I've never had a burger. So
we've got pheasant risotto from Kelly, and not very creative, but a medium deer steak from Melissa.
Absolutely.
Saying that, not me.
Lovely. Well, you folks in Eastern Canada, there's a lot more pheasant going on over there than over here. So wild boar bacon, Nadia, I agree with you. I know that there was a big movement on the slider front years ago, and I made pheasant sliders for a party, and that was a huge hit.
So
they were.
I love anything you cook, really. I
Thanks.
mean,
well,
if you weren't around and my husband wasn't around, I'd probably starve. But
the one time I made a duck dinner, Casey and her husband over, guests. I thought, well, I'm very excited, and so of course it's wild duck, and so I made it with green curry and pineapple and coconut rice, and everybody loved it and looked at me and said, but we can't taste the duck. It's like, apparently this is a recipe for people who aren't into wild game. So
Alicia says wild boar bacon at the Anzac bar.
Well, I'm into the boar bacon. I don't know where the Anzac bar is. Might have to meet you there.
And Tara says she had a family tradition of roast rabbit every New Year's Day, but always thought it was a French thing. No idea, though. And Emily says, my Alberta hunting host made bear shawarma, and it was fantastic.
Wow. Well, Tara, I bet you the French will claim it is French, but, we can enjoy it in Canada, too. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, Lisa, I want to ask you, this is going to be a hard one.
Okay.
What was your favorite hunting and or fishing trip? Share us why it was your favorite trip.
Oh.
Where did you go? Where did you go? What did you do? Why was it your favorite?
Oh, that's really hard. Can I pick a favorite per person?
Well, or just the most recent in memory.
Yeah, let's do it that way, because that would be too hard. I mean, there's so many great ones with my dad and my brothers and my kids. I would say for 2020, my favorite hunting experience would have to be the wolf hunt with my son. It was
photos were amazing. Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Just to put it in a little bit of perspective, you know, we are sitting in a hunting ground blind, and it is literally, I don't know, 6 feet by maybe 7 or 8. So we're talking pretty small. And we are sitting there for 7 days, 12 hours a day with my 15-year-old son. So I can't tell you how honored I was that he, A, said he wanted to do this, and then B, hang out with his mom for those many hours. Yes, you're not really talking, and you know, you got to be quiet, and you're doing all the scent control, and everything's great, but still to be confined. And then he doesn't even get a break. We go back to the cabin, and he has to sleep in the same cabin as me. So poor kid. But honestly, to be successful and have that forever memory with him, because you know, as I'm sure most of you know, wolf hunting is quite hard. Not a lot of people are able to get a wolf, so this was pretty magical for me, and hopefully for him. And then I would say my favorite fishing experience in 2020. Ooh. Okay, there's two. I have to share two. My one was ice fishing in March, and I landed my new personal best northern pike out of the ice, and I can't tell you, it was close to that 50-inch mark. To see him you know, through the hole and bring him up was absolutely amazing, truly. And I would say my other fishing highlight for 2020 was when I went to Manitoba fishing catfish. And honestly, somewhere there was some luck and, I don't know, angels, something looking down on us, because I was able to catch 5 master catfish in one day. And
oh my gosh.
I was sore. Like, I was like, okay, enough, because they fight. Their fight is incredible. And so that was a huge highlight for me.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing. That's
Kara's got a quick question. She says, get a wolf as in got a hunting ticket?
Mm-hmm.
You mean like a tag? Did you have to get a tag for that, Lisa?
No, you don't. No. In the hunting zone we were in, we were not required a tag. We have to register it though. Once we did shoot it, then we have to register it and provide all the information and stuff to the local Fish and Game office, but that was it.
So there are things that are considered predator control and management, and I do believe that falls within it. So other than those conditions, yes, I think that falls within it, the same as coyotes as well. So so what are you going to put in for next year, Lisa? What are you putting in for draws, and where do you want to go hunting?
Well, so this year I did put in for my muley draw and my moose draw. I just want to say I did a hunt with my good friend Andre and his family for 9 days in 414, which is down in the mountains. I've never done that before, so that was exciting. We didn't get a moose, and so then I went back and did a 6-day solo hunt by myself in the mountains, in the snow. I'm telling you guys, it was crazy, incredible. I pushed my limits. My heat quit working and everything froze, like my canned goods, my water. I was frozen because I came in soaking wet from the snow and nothing would dry. So it was just absolutely amazing. Would love to do that again. So point was, those 2 tags or those 2 applications are done for a few years, as you know. So maybe looking at maybe doing an antelope. I believe I'm should be up in the priority ranks. And I definitely want to go back to Saskatchewan and spend maybe a couple weeks. And I really want to focus on doing some solid deer hunting.
That's amazing. They have some monster. Oh, go ahead, Casey. Sorry about that.
Sorry, do you hunt mostly in Canada or do you go elsewhere?
No, just actually, I will even narrow that even more down. I mostly hunt just Alberta and Saskatchewan, and I haven't hunted anywhere else at this point. So
I think we'll have to expand this and do another show on hunting internationally. There are some amazing women that I know that are local, that have been all around the globe and have some outstanding stories, and love to have them share that with us. But we do have, yes, Kelly, we do have a wide range of species. We are very fortunate to have what we have here, and I would say that in Canada we're fortunate. There's a lot of good management happening, and we've got a plethora of animals for sure to choose from, and it is a bit of a lottery. And I love when you get sitting with hunters and we start talking in 3-digit numbers, because those are the wildlife management units, and we've got our priority and our tags. So it's for those that know, and for those that don't, come on board, and we'll certainly help you get there for sure. I think it's something that women love, and as I said earlier, more women are entering into the hunting side for sure. I can't speak as much to fishing. I think fishing has been always something that women have enjoyed, but I know that we're getting more and more outdoors women, outdoors people, and we're getting just so many more leaders from the women's side, and there's just an amazing group of people that Casey and I would love to bring forward. So if you know an amazing woman in hunting, fishing, shooting, somebody that could bring us great stories and motivate us, please reach out to us and let us know. And then the same goes for activities, whether it be adventure days. I know ice fishing was asked, an adventure ice fishing day with the ladies. Maybe we could add the lures with that. It doesn't have to be hunting and shooting. As we said, we had an outdoor adventure day that started with a morning of first aid. So Lisa, you were in the backcountry by yourself. It was really important to be your own first responder. So that's what our event was. And then after our lunch, we went on horseback up into K country. So we try and embrace all the things that you crazy ladies want to do. Just get out and hang with us and have some fun. So we're getting to the top of the hour, and I know we promise that we're always on time. So Casey, you've got your finger up.
One
so,
more.
Yes.
Nadia has asked, do you have any tips for good spots to ice fish around Calgary, Canmore, or Old Man area? A bit of hiking requirement is okay.
All right. So Calgary area is new to me in the last year or so, but Lake Newell is really good for fishing. Chain Lakes, they don't have a lot for size. However, the quantity of fish that you are able to catch in a short period of time is fairly good. I've been to Kananaskis Lake. Lower Kananaskis Lake, and that's been really fun. Not to mention the views are fabulous. So even if you don't have a great day fishing, you get charged up from all of that great stuff. I'm trying to think where else I went. Go ahead.
I had a great day at McGregor. It was just one after the other after the other. It was catch and release, and the longer the day went, the bigger they got. So it was one of those perfect days. So
right. Where is McGregor? Someone actually messaged me today and asked me if I would fish there. I haven't.
If you leave Calgary and you go south towards High River, then you go east for about 30 minutes to the Milo area. You're going to find McGregor Lake there, and it's a lovely long lake, and there's lots of opportunities to put in at the north end. So we've got a few things popping up in chat. I know somebody asked about sandhill cranes. I didn't catch which one of you asked that, but man, oh man, would have I loved that this year. They've added sandhill cranes to birds, and yeah,
that was Alyssa. And Chelsea says, "Where have you ladies been all my life?" Chelsea, welcome home.
Welcome to the tribe. That's right. So, and as we grow and as you guys get involved and you want to do a crane hunting trip, a south of the border when we're allowed, and you want to go do pheasant hunting in beautiful Montana, or who knows what. Let's do something. Let's go as a group and enjoy women that love to get out and do it. So. So I know I was about to wrap up. Is it safe to do so now, Casey?
I think so.
All right. Okay. So just to let you guys know, we do have plans. Of course, like everything, they're COVID dependent. But in 2021, we're planning to launch an official membership to LadyGuns, and that membership will give you access to the website with a marketplace and mentors, and of course some really gratuitous LadyGuns swag, some ambassador links,
Here,
and
I tested out. Anybody
Nice.
sees it.
She's designing.
I've been designing t-shirts, so that was my test.
There you go. There you go. Thanks,
Love
Casey.
it.
And yeah, and discounts at retailers, and discounts on our workshops and our special events and so on. So stay tuned. Casey is hard at work building that website right now, and we've got great ideas, but it's not about us, it's about you. It's about what you want, who you want to meet, and how we can connect, whether it be online or in person, whether it be shooting, hunting, fishing, or I don't know, whatever good ideas you guys might have. So because this is our official Christmas, hence the Christmas tree and my silly hat episode for 2020, and it's the last one we're going to do before we see y'all back in 2021, I wanted to take the chance and the opportunity to thank a bunch of people because this is on YouTube. Somebody might hear it or see it, but I wanted to take the chance to thank all of those amazing people out there that have helped LadyGuns over the last few years. And 2020 with the pandemic has been a bit tough, but we've been going back and forth. We have some companies and some organizations I want to give a shout out to. The gun ranges that let the ladies come in and take over on Thursday nights, the Shooting Edge, the Calgary Shooting Center, and most recently the Red Deer Shooting Center, thanks to Taz who brought that forward, and we're going to build something great there. The CCFR, if you're not a member, check it out. They're supporting the shooting and hunting community, and they also support women in the shooting and hunting sports, and they support us and our ladies' nights. I want to do a shout out to the Canadian University Shooting Federation. Not only are they bringing shooting back to universities, and believe it or not, university shooting clubs are springing up across Canada, and we are officially now coast to coast, but Casey and I are very honored and privileged to be part of the QSIF, the University Shooting Federation Women's Program. And then in 2020, we had a chance to get on Slamfire Radio, First Focal Plane podcast, excuse me, Gun Freedom Radio down in the US, and then we hooked up with our friends at Bolt Action Coffee, who are the boys at Call Sign 66. I suppose it's not nice to call them boys. The guys at Call Sign 66, who are amazing long-range shooters. So they're going to be part of some long-range shooting programs. So for you into hunting, we're going to talk about rifles and optics and things long distance. So thank you for letting me give those shout outs to everybody. And lastly, and most importantly, I'd like to thank all of you for your time tonight. For those of you who joined us and came back again, thank you. 2021 should be an amazing year for women of the shooting and hunting sports community, and I hope to build better relationships with you all. A huge thank you, Lisa, for your time tonight, and thank you to Casey, who keeps all this tech running. Like I said earlier, she's the tech, I'm the talk. So Lisa,
and usually it's a pretty good thing. I mean, you can keep things going. I'm just kind of the awkward
awesome
one.
Awesome.
Well,
Awesome.
I want to thank you guys for inviting me and allowing me to share some of my stories, and yeah, it's just been really nice. So thank you guys.
Fantastic. I was hoping you would take the opportunity for the last word. So that's fantastic. Everybody have an amazing holiday season. Stay safe. Enjoy your Christmas. And like I said, check us out on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, ladyguns.ca, and the YouTube channel. And hopefully we'll do some amazing things in 2021. So Merry Christmas to you all, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.